Hey Chad, we're at IHOP.
I hate IHOPs.
We're not doing that kind of video. I'm just saying we're at IHOP.
Oh.
Dang it, Chad.
That's your fault.
Hello. My topic was Hispanic legends. I decided to make a video. So here we go. Throughout this video, on one side of the screen, you will be seeing me time-lapse these legends, speed painting. On this side, you will be seeing me. Cool, let's go ahead and jump into our first legend, and guaranteed, I'm gonna butcher all these names. Good thing a few of them have other names we can call them. Our first guy is El Silbon. Google Translate. Our first guy is
El Silbón, El Silbón,
El Silbon.
El Silbón.
There you go. El Silbon has a nickname called the Whistler. So let's go ahead and get into the Whistler and see what this is all about. Meanwhile, I'm drawing him right here, so let's talk while I draw. His supposed description of like what he looks like and everything, because of course there are variations of all of these legends, but I tried to pick the ones that seem to be like the main ones. So most people say that the Whistler is a thin giant with a hat. Now by giant, I mean 6 meters tall. And don't you worry guys, I googled the conversion and that's about 20 feet. And most of the time, he's just roaming around in the treetops. So now, what does he do? So he sits in the treetops basically and lets dust gather on him. And then, on either rainy days or humid days, he wanders around looking for death. I know, right? Crazy. He's basically looking to punish people. So he's looking for drunks, he's looking for womanizers, and he also looks just for innocent people, because he feels like it sometimes. So clearly no one's safe. So when he finds the drunk, he like attaches himself to their nasal cavity area, and he sucks the alcohol out of them. Like, he does that specifically for the drunks, but to everyone that he encounters, he tears their body apart, extracts the bones from the body parts, and puts them in a special sack that he carries around. And inside this sack, it is believed that he also has the bones, not only of his victims, but of his father. That's a pretty messed up family scenario he got going on there. But that's not even the scariest thing. The scariest thing that he does is the following. So on certain nights, he'll go out, he'll find a house, and he will just stand outside of the house with his sack over his back. He'll put the sack on the ground, and then he'll get out the bones from the sack and count them one by one. If someone in the house hears him counting the bones, he'll gather the bones, put them in the bag, and he'll leave. What? But if no one hears him counting the bones outside the house, someone in that house will not live to see the sunrise. That's scary stuff. So if you don't know he's there, you're gonna die. If you know he's there, he'll leave you alone. He's kind of seeking attention, if you ask me. That's my interpretation of it. But guys, that is the Whistler. Walking around, making weird little creepy spine-chilling whistle noises. And if you don't hear him, or know he's there, you're dead. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this next one, almost guarantee I'm gonna butcher its name the entire time. It is El Sombreron. El Sombreron. El Sombreron. I don't know. Professor Pico help me. But this guy's supposed description is pretty simple. He wears a big sombrero. He's short, some heavy boots. He looks like a man, but he's really a goblin. Basically, the only background information that we need to know about this guy is that he likes to braid hair. He braids his horse's hair, or mane, and he braids his dog's hair in his like free time when he's by himself, no one's with him. My free time, I watch Netflix. But we're all different. So here's basically how his story goes. He finds a young girl with pretty hair, basically. And this one girl that we're focusing on, pretty hair, long hair, big eyes, everything. One night, she was staring at the moon, looking at the moon and the stars and all that good stuff. And he appears on her balcony and starts singing to her. Cute, right? She wasn't a big fan of him. Her parents got worried. They forced her inside. She's like, okay, we'll go. Goblin Man, he had to stay outside because he wasn't welcome. So to get back at her for not liking him, every night he went and stood outside her window and serenaded her. So because he kept singing to her every night, it made it impossible for her to sleep. Vengeance. Not only that, whenever her parents made food for her, he would somehow like curse it or whatever and fill it with dirt. So kind of made it hard for her to eat, or at least eat good food. The parents got so mad that they just decided to cut her hair themselves, since that's what this goblin guy wanted. And then to take it a step further, they had a priest come over and bless her hair. That kind of made the goblin guy stop coming around. We don't know if it's because of the holy water or if it's because he doesn't like short hair because he can't braid it. But the overall thing is that if he's not liked by the girl that he likes, he will torment her until, I guess, she either dies of lack of sleep or starvation, or she just becomes not attractive in his eyes. So it's kind of a lose-lose for her. And kind of him too. Wasting time, doesn't get any love or anything. So, needless to say, he's got some rejection problems. The third legend that we're going to be talking about is El Coco. Probably, like I said, mispronouncing it. That's okay. We're going to call him Coco. And his description is that he just looks like a burnt human. It's because he is. Spoiler alert. So here's his backstory. There's this human child in Mexico. His father was a mean dude. Held him captive in a wooden shed and eventually burned his son alive inside shed. The son returned to the world as like an undead, ghostly shadow creature. He hunts the night in search of misbehaving children. I don't know why he wouldn't go after his father, but misbehaving children works too. So what does he do? Coco, he sits on the rooftops of children, of houses that have children in it, I should say. While he's on the house, he's disguised as what the internet said, a dark shadow. I don't know a shadow that's not dark, but cool. And he just sits and watches and waits for bad behavior, basically. So he's kind of the opposite of a guardian angel, in a sense. Like, he's waiting for something bad to happen, while the guardian angel's like, I will help you. As like a punishment for being a bad child, Coco scares these kids. But it's not his burnt, like, shadow appearance that scares them. It's what he does to them that terrifies them to no end. And he can do one of two things to them. The first thing he can do is eat them whole. One big gulp. It's immediate and painful. The second thing he can do is banish them to a spiritual realm where there is no escape, and they will spend eternity alone. That's terrifying. Oh, but the whole banishment thing, that's only for disobedient children. So if you're just being rude, you get eaten. If you're like, no, I don't want to eat my vegetables, then you get banished forever. And Coco, rather than just being a monster or something, he actually has a use that parents use frequently. So Coco is, for lack of a better term, popular. So parents have created a lullaby for their children that involve Coco. And it goes something like this. Sleep, child, sleep now. Here comes the Coco, and he will eat you. Doesn't even rhyme. But they use it quite frequently. So this is how they're using Coco to get their children to behave in a certain way that they want. A good-mannered, respectable child. Whereas here in America, we say, be nice and Santa will give you presents. In parts of Mexico or just in family households where they talk about Coco. They're like, hey, be nice or Coco will kill you tonight. So there's that. And that is Coco. So the fourth legend is La Llorona. Hope I'm saying that right. And her alias is the Weeping Woman. So that's what I'm gonna call her. So she looks pretty normal actually. Female, beautiful, white gown, and she's a ghost. So here is her story. Her name is Maria, the most beautiful girl in town. She has rejected many people because she's like, you're not handsome enough for me. So one day, she found a handsome guy. She married him, they had 2 sons, everything was perfect. And then over time, her husband got bored with her. Bad dude. So he started seeing other girls. He even started to prefer being with his sons rather than being with his wife. So in an act of jealous rage, she took her 2 sons down to the Santa Fe River, threw them in, and drowned them basically. All because her husband liked spending more time with them than her. So much guilt that she could not live. Dang it, Ella. So after doing so, she felt so much guilt for killing her sons that she could not live with herself. So she went, put on a white gown, and went back to the Santa Fe River, walked up and down the side of it until she starved herself to death. She killed herself. So she then returned as a ghost, and she was wailing and screaming all throughout the night. She kept screaming and crying and weeping, all because she's so sad that she still can't believe that she killed her sons. So now anyone that goes to the river at night, she just kills. She just kills them because she can't deal with her grief. Now, in the areas along Santa Fe, the Santa Fe River, they tell the story to children to keep them from going to the water at night because it's dark and dangerous waters, could get washed away. So that's how they're kind of still using this little legend. Keep kids safe. And that is the Weeping Woman. Alrighty guys, the last legend that we're going to talk about is El Chupacabra. I hope I'm saying that one right. I've heard it a bunch of times. So the supposed description, or like the main thought that it is a dog-like creature who is hairless and has spikes on its back. And there's not really much of a story, just some facts that people think about the creature. Chupacabra means goat sucker. So, sucks the blood from goats, I guess. It's blamed for mysterious livestock deaths. Of course, it could be anything, coyotes or whatever, but people, for the most part, assume it's a chupacabra. And the last cool fact that I could find about it is that witnesses say that it has hypnotic powers and can paralyze its prey to make sucking its blood easier. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, that's the Chupacabra, or that's El Chupacabra. But yeah, there you go. There are 5 awesome Hispanic legends. Cool.